There's a peculiar violence in false affection, not the kind that leaves visible marks, but the kind that corrodes slowly, like rust eating through iron from the inside out. Ibn Arabi, the great Sufi mystic of the 12th century, understood something fundamental about human nature that most of us spend our lives avoiding. Not everyone who smiles at you wishes you well. Not every hand extended in friendship comes without a hidden blade. We live in a world obsessed with appearances. Social media has taught us to curate perfect images of connection, to collect friends like trophies, to measure love in likes and comments. But beneath this glossy surface, something darker churns. The medieval mystics spoke of veils, layers upon layers of illusion that separate us from truth. Today, those veils have multiplied exponentially. We've become masters at wearing masks, and some have learned to wear them so well that even they forget what lies beneath. The human psyche is a labyrinth of contradictions. We can simultaneously love and resent, admire and envy, seek connection while harboring contempt. This duality isn't a moral failing. It's the price of consciousness itself. But when someone's hatred becomes the dominant note in a symphony they pretend is love, the dissonance creates a particular kind of psychological poison. You feel it before you understand it. Your body knows before your mind accepts. There's a coldness in their warmth, a calculation in their spontaneity, a performance where there should be presence. Ibn Arabi wrote extensively about the heart's capacity for self-deception and the human tendency towards spiritual blindness. He understood that the greatest battles aren't fought with swords, but in the subtle realm of intentions, in the space between what we say and what we mean, between the face we show and the truth we hide. In his teachings, he warned of those who approach with honeyed words while their hearts harbor thorns. These individuals, he suggested, are among the most dangerous obstacles on the path to self-knowledge, because they teach us to doubt our own perception, to question the very instincts that exist to protect us. The first sign reveals itself in the quality of their presence. When someone genuinely cares for you, their attention has a particular texture. It's full, present, engaged. You can feel the weight of their focus, the authenticity of their interest. But those who harbor hidden resentment while performing affection create a different kind of presence. It's hollow, performative. Their eyes might be on you, but there's no real seeing happening. They look through you rather than at you. They nod at the right moments, laugh at appropriate times, but if you pay attention, really pay attention, you'll notice the mechanical quality of it all, like watching an actor who's rehearsed their lines too many times and forgotten to feel them. This hollowness manifests in subtle ways. They remember facts about your life, but not the emotional weight those facts carry. They ask questions but seem oddly disconnected from your answers. There's a timing issue too. Their responses come just a beat too late or too early, slightly out of sync with the natural rhythm of genuine exchange. It's the difference between a real laugh and a laugh track, between spontaneous joy and programmed response. Your nervous system picks up on these micro-delays, these tiny fractures in authenticity, even when your conscious mind tries to rationalize them away. Ibn Arabi spoke of the heart as a mirror that reflects the truth of things when polished clean of ego and desire. But what happens when you're the mirror and someone is deliberately showing you a distorted reflection of themselves? Your clarity becomes their weapon. Your openness becomes their advantage. They learn the language of your vulnerabilities, not to honor them, but to exploit them, studying your emotional landscape the way a general studies terrain before battle. The second sign emerges in how they speak about others when those people aren't present. This is one of the most reliable indicators of hidden malice, yet we so often overlook it. Someone who smiles in your face but consistently tears others down behind their backs is revealing their true operating system. They're showing you the algorithm that runs beneath their social interface. The person they're gossiping about today is a proxy for you tomorrow. The venom they direct at absent targets is practice for the poison they're preparing for you, but it's more nuanced than simple gossip. These individuals have refined their contempt into an art form. They've learned to disguise criticism as concern, to frame judgment as insight, to present cruelty as honesty. They'll say things like, "I'm only telling you this because I care," before delivering character assassinations. They position themselves as the reluctant bearer of hard truths. the brave soul willing to see what others won't. In reality, they're projecting their own shadow onto everyone around them, spreading their internal darkness while claiming to shine light. What makes this particularly insidious is how they recruit you into their worldview. By sharing these poisonous observations, they're not just venting, they're testing your boundaries, measuring your complicity, and gradually normalizing a culture of concealed contempt. If you nod along, if you add your own observations, you become part of their system. You validate their way of seeing. And in that moment, you can be sure they're making mental notes about you too, cataloging your weaknesses and insecurities for future reference. The third sign lives in the realm of celebration and success. This is where the mask slips most dramatically, because joy is harder to fake than concern. When something good happens to you, a promotion, a relationship milestone, a creative achievement, any genuine victory, watch their face in that first unguarded moment before they compose their response. There's a flicker, a micro-expression that betrays the truth. It might be a tightening around the eyes, a brief downturn of the mouth, a moment where their smile doesn't quite reach their eyes before they force it wider. Ibn Arabi taught that envy is one of the darkest forces in human consciousness because it wishes for another's light to be diminished rather than seeking to kindle one's own flame. Those who secretly hate you cannot bear your flourishing. Your success is a mirror that reflects their own perceived failures. Your happiness highlights their misery. Your growth makes their stagnation unbearable. So they learn to perform congratulations while their hearts are suffocating in resentment. This manifests in several patterns. They might initially offer praise, but quickly pivot to questioning or diminishing your achievement. That's great, but didn't Sarah get promoted to an even higher position? Or, I'm happy for you, though I've heard that company has some issues. They can't let your victory stand unqualified. They need to introduce doubt, to complicate your joy, to ensure that your celebration is contaminated with uncertainty. Alternatively, they might offer excessive praise that feels oddly empty, like they're reading from a script they don't believe in. The words are right, but the energy behind them is wrong. It's applause with clenched fists. Sometimes the most telling response is absence. They go quiet when you share good news. They change the subject quickly. They find reasons not to celebrate with you, or they celebrate in ways that somehow center themselves, turning your achievement into an opportunity to talk about their own struggles or past successes, redirecting the spotlight even as they claim to be shining it on you. This isn't accidental. It's a strategic minimization, a way of managing their internal discomfort by reducing your moment to something they can tolerate. The fourth sign appears in patterns of subtle sabotage. This is perhaps the most dangerous because it operates beneath the threshold of clear evidence. These individuals don't attack you directly. That would be too obvious, too risky. Instead, they create small obstacles, introduce minor complications, plant seeds of doubt in others about you, all while maintaining their facade of support. They're architects of nearly invisible interference. Ibn Arabi understood that the ego operates through countless deceptions, and one of its favorite tactics is indirect aggression. The person who secretly despises you while pretending friendship becomes a master of plausible deniability. They forget to pass along important information, but it seems like an honest mistake. They share your confidences with others, but frame it as seeking advice on how to help you. They introduce you to opportunities, but somehow fail to mention crucial details that would help you succeed. They offer to help with something important, but do it half-heartedly or incorrectly, creating more work than if you'd done it yourself. This form of sabotage is particularly crazy-making because each individual incident seems too small to address. If you bring it up, you risk looking paranoid or overly sensitive. They can easily say, "I forgot," or "I didn't realize," or "I was trying to help." And you'll be the one who looks unreasonable for assigning malicious intent to what could be simple human error. But pattern recognition is one of the brain's most powerful tools. When these mistakes consistently work against your interests, when these oversights repeatedly benefit them or harm you, when their help reliably creates more problems than it solves, you're not witnessing coincidence. You're witnessing warfare conducted below the level of open conflict. The truly skilled practitioners of this dark art also engage in reputation management, slowly, carefully shaping how others perceive you. They do this through strategic ambiguity and careful framing. They might say to someone else, "I'm worried about them, they seem stressed lately," planting concern where none existed. Or they're great, but sometimes they can be a bit intense, introducing doubt disguised as balanced observation. They're not saying you're bad. That would be too obvious. They're just adding small qualifications, tiny caveats, subtle shadow to the image others hold of you. Over time, these accumulate like sediment, clouding the water of your reputation without any single dramatic accusation that you could challenge or defend against. The fifth sign manifests in their relationship with your boundaries. Someone who genuinely cares about you respects your limits, even when they don't fully understand them. They might ask questions, seek clarification, but ultimately, they honor your autonomy. Those who harbor hidden hostility, however, treat your boundaries as challenges to overcome, obstacles to their agenda, or evidence of your flaws. They push against your limits not accidentally but systematically, testing how much they can get away with, how far they can bend you before you break. This takes many forms. They might consistently ask for things you've said you can't give, framing each request slightly differently, as if the boundary didn't apply to this specific situation. They might mock your limits, making jokes that undermine your seriousness. "Oh, you and your rules," they might say with a laugh, as if your need for self-protection is amusing rather than valid. They violate your boundaries and then act surprised or hurt when you object, positioning themselves as the injured party, and you as the unreasonable one for having limits in the first place. Ibn Arabi wrote extensively about the importance of spiritual boundaries, the ability to maintain one's center while engaging with others, to be present without being consumed, to give without being depleted. He understood that those who cannot respect boundaries are revealing something essential about their character. They're demonstrating that they view you not as an autonomous being with inherent rights and needs, but as a resource to be exploited, a territory to be conquered, an extension of themselves to be controlled. What's particularly revealing is how they respond when you enforce boundaries. A person who loves you might be disappointed when you say no to something, but they'll ultimately accept it and move forward. Someone who secretly resents you will punish you for the boundary. They'll withdraw affection, give you the silent treatment, speak about you negatively to others, or escalate their boundary violations. Your assertion of autonomy is experienced by them as a betrayal, because in their distorted framework, you exist to serve their needs. And any deviation from that role is an act of aggression that justifies their retaliation. The sixth sign lives in the realm of crisis and vulnerability. There's a particular test that reveals character more reliably than almost anything else. What happens when you're down? When you're struggling, suffering, genuinely in need, how do they show up? Those who authentically care will extend themselves, offering support that might be imperfect, but is undeniably real. They'll sit with you in discomfort. They'll show up even when it's inconvenient. They'll hold space for your pain without trying to fix it away or using it against you. But those who harbor concealed hatred see your vulnerability very differently. For some, it's an opportunity for schadenfreude, a barely hidden satisfaction in your suffering. They might express sympathy, but there's something off about it, something almost gleeful beneath the performance of concern. Your pain validates their worldview, confirms their secret belief that you're not as together as you appear, provides evidence for the flaws they've been cataloging. They might say, "I'm so sorry you're going through this," while their eyes tell a different story, one of satisfaction and vindication. Others use your crisis as leverage. They offer help, but in ways that put you in their debt, that create obligation, that give them power over you. The assistance comes with strings attached, explicit or implicit expectations that you'll owe them, that you'll have to compromise yourself later, that you've now entered into a transaction where they hold the advantage. Ibn Arabi warned about those who give in order to control, who offer the hand while preparing the chain. True generosity, he taught, flows without expectation of return. False generosity is just investment in future domination. Some reveal their hidden contempt through abandonment. When you need them most, they suddenly become unavailable. They're busy, overwhelmed with their own problems, can't really handle emotional intensity right now. The person who was constantly in your life when things were good vanishes when darkness comes. This isn't always hatred. Sometimes it's just emotional incapacity or fear. But when it's part of a broader pattern, when it aligns with the other signs, it reveals the truth. They were never invested in you as a whole person, only in the version of you that served their needs. The moment you need something from them, the moment you're not the strong, successful, entertaining person they enjoy being around, you become inconvenient, disposable. What's particularly cruel is when they use your vulnerability against you later. They remember the things you shared in moments of weakness, the fears you confessed, the failures you admitted, and they weaponize this knowledge. It might be subtle, a casual reference to that thing you're sensitive about, a joke that lands exactly where it hurts most, a comparison that you specifically said wounds you. They're demonstrating that they were never a safe space for your pain. They were gathering intelligence, collecting ammunition, waiting for the right moment to use your openness as a weapon. The seventh, and perhaps most subtle sign, appears in their relationship with your growth and transformation. Genuine love celebrates evolution. It honors the ways we change and mature. It makes space for the person we're becoming, not just the person we were when the relationship began. But those who secretly hate you need you to remain fixed, limited, reduced to the version of you they've decided you are. Your transformation threatens them because it disrupts their narrative, challenges their framework, makes their carefully constructed understanding of who you are obsolete. This manifests as resistance to your change. When you develop new interests, they dismiss them as phases. When you set different priorities, they question your judgment. When you outgrow old patterns, they remind you of who you used to be, anchoring you to a past self they prefer. They might say things like, "You've changed," with disappointment and accusation in their voice, as if evolution is betrayal, as if growth is abandonment, as if your becoming is somehow an attack on them. Ibn Arabi taught that the spiritual journey requires shedding old skins, dying to who we were to become who we must be. He understood that this process threatens those who are invested in our limitations, who benefit from our smallness, who need us to remain fixed so they can feel stable. Your expansion destabilizes their world. Your courage to change highlights their stagnation. Your willingness to let go of what no longer serves you challenges their commitment to what imprisons them. They might actively try to pull you back into old dynamics. They'll reminisce about the good old days in ways that suggest the present is inferior. They'll encourage behaviors you're trying to outgrow. They'll introduce situations that trigger old patterns, seemingly accidentally, but with suspicious consistency. They're not supporting your journey. They're sabotaging it, trying to keep you in the box they've built for you, maintaining the version of you that makes them comfortable even if it makes you miserable. What's particularly painful is when they co-opt the language of care to disguise their resistance. "I'm just worried about you," they might say when you're making positive changes. "I miss the old you" becomes a way to guilt you for growing. Are you sure about this? Plants doubt about choices that are actually aligned with your authentic self. They frame their need for you to stay the same as concern for your well-being, when in reality it's concern for their own comfort, their own sense of control, their own ability to maintain the dynamic where they have the upper hand. But here's what Ibn Arabi understood, what the mystics across traditions have always known. The most profound spiritual practice is learning to see clearly, not with cynicism, not with paranoia, but with a clarity that doesn't flinch from difficult truths. These 7 signs aren't just about identifying fake friends or toxic relationships. They're about developing the capacity to perceive reality beneath appearances, to trust your intuition even when it contradicts what you want to believe, to honor the wisdom of your discomfort even when you can't fully articulate why you feel the way you do. The human heart is capable of extraordinary complexity. We contain multitudes, as the poet said. Someone can have moments of genuine care for you and still harbor deep resentment. They can wish you well in some areas while actively undermining you in others. They can be unaware of their own hostility, operating from wounds so deep they don't recognize them as wounds anymore, just as the landscape of their psyche. This doesn't make them evil. Binary thinking about good and bad people is itself a form of blindness. But it does make them dangerous, at least to your well-being, at least in this season of your life. The question becomes, what do you do with this knowledge? How do you move through the world once you've learned to recognize these signs? The answer isn't simple because human relationships rarely are. Some situations require clear boundaries and distance. You can't maintain closeness with someone actively working against you, even if that work is subtle, even if they're unaware they're doing it. Your responsibility is to yourself first. Not from selfishness, but from survival, from the recognition that you can't pour from an empty cup, that you can't love anyone well if you're allowing yourself to be slowly poisoned. But sometimes the situation is more nuanced. Maybe this person is a family member you can't fully separate from. Maybe they're a colleague you must interact with professionally. Maybe they're someone you once loved deeply who has changed, or who has shown you who they always were, and you're grieving both the relationship and your own illusions about it. In these cases, the practice isn't about severing ties completely, but about adjusting your engagement, calibrating how much you share, how much you invest, how much you allow their opinion of you to matter. Ibn Arabi spoke of spiritual discernment as one of the highest forms of wisdom, the ability to give each thing its due measure, neither more nor less. This means not giving someone who harbors hidden hatred the full access and trust of genuine friendship. It means not sharing your vulnerabilities with people who will weaponize them. It means not celebrating your victories with those who can't genuinely rejoice in them. But it also means not necessarily declaring war, not turning every interaction into combat, not allowing their darkness to corrupt your own heart. There's a particular kind of freedom that comes from accepting reality as it is, rather than as you wish it to be. When you stop trying to earn the authentic love of someone who's shown you they can't or won't give it, something inside you relaxes. The constant vigilance, the effort to be likable enough, successful enough, valuable enough to convert their hidden hostility into genuine affection, it all falls away. You see them clearly. You see the relationship clearly. And in that clarity, you can make choices aligned with your actual well-being, rather than with your fantasies about what could be. This doesn't mean becoming cynical or closing your heart to everyone. That would be letting their poison win, allowing their inability to love authentically to corrupt your own capacity for connection. The work is to remain open while being wise, to stay soft while being boundaried, to continue offering your authentic self to those who've earned that privilege while protecting yourself from those who haven't. It's a constant calibration, a practice rather than a destination, a skill that must be developed over time through trial and error and countless acts of courage. What the mystics understood is that these challenging relationships are also teachers. They show us where we compromise ourselves, where we override our intuition, where we choose comfort over truth. They reveal our own wounds, the places where we're so desperate for love that we'll accept counterfeits, so afraid of being alone that we'll tolerate being slowly destroyed, so invested in seeing ourselves as good and trusting that we'll ignore clear evidence of danger. Every person who shows you these 7 signs is also showing you something about yourself, about the work you still have to do, about the ways you still need to grow in self-respect and self-protection. Ibn Arabi taught that the journey to truth requires dying many deaths: death of illusions, death of false securities, death of comfortable lies. Recognizing these patterns in your relationships is one such death. It's the death of naivete, the death of the belief that everyone means well, the death of the fantasy that love alone can transform hatred into affection. These deaths are painful. They feel like loss because they are loss. But they're also liberation, clearing away what was never real to make space for what could be genuine. In the end, the goal isn't to become suspicious of everyone or to see hidden enemies in every relationship. The goal is to develop the capacity to see clearly, to trust your perception, to honor the signals your body and intuition send you, even when they're inconvenient or unwelcome. Here it's about learning that your discomfort matters, that your sense that something is off is valid even if you can't prove it, that you don't owe anyone the benefit of the doubt when they've shown you through their actions who they really are. The 7 signs are guideposts, not rigid rules. Human behavior is too complex for simple formulas. Someone might exhibit 1 or 2 of these patterns without harboring genuine hatred. Context matters. Consistency matters. Pattern over time matters. But when you see multiple signs showing up repeatedly, when your gut keeps whispering the truth your mind wants to deny, when you feel consistently drained or diminished or destabilized around someone who claims to care for you, trust that. Trust yourself. Trust the ancient wisdom that knows predator from friend, that can sense danger before the mind consciously recognizes it, that has kept our species alive through millennia of threats, both obvious and concealed. You deserve relationships where the love isn't performance, where the care is consistent, where your success is genuinely celebrated, where your boundaries are honored, where your vulnerability is held sacred, where your growth is supported, where you don't have to constantly analyze and question and doubt whether what you're receiving is real. You deserve people who show up for you the way you show up for them, who give as much as they take, who see you clearly and love what they see rather than resenting it. The work is learning to require this of your relationships rather than accepting less because you're afraid of being alone or difficult or asking too much. The work is recognizing that being alone is infinitely better than being with someone who pretends to love you while harboring hatred in their heart. The work is understanding that you're not responsible for fixing or saving or converting people who've shown you they aren't safe, that your only responsibility is to yourself, to your own healing and growth and flourishing. And here's what becomes possible when you do this work. You create space for genuine connection. When you clear out the relationships built on pretense and performance, when you release those who can't meet you authentically, you make room for people who can. You raise your standards by refusing to accept counterfeits. You teach others how to treat you by demonstrating how you treat yourself, with respect, with care, with the acknowledgement that you are worthy of authentic love rather than its poisonous imitation. This is the path Ibn Arabi pointed toward, not naive trust in everyone's goodness, but clear-eyed recognition of reality, combined with an open heart toward those who've proven themselves worthy of that openness. It's the middle way between cynicism and gullibility, between closing yourself off completely and leaving yourself unprotected. It's wisdom earned through experience, through mistakes, through the painful education that comes from trusting the wrong people and then choosing to trust your own judgment more carefully next time. The journey toward this wisdom is long and often lonely. You'll doubt yourself. You'll wonder if you're being paranoid or unfair. You'll feel guilty for pulling back from people who claim to care about you. You'll miss the comfort of illusions, even as you know the truth is ultimately kinder. But keep going. Keep learning to see. Keep honoring what you know, even when it's inconvenient. Keep choosing your own well-being over others' comfort, with the version of you they prefer. Because at the end of everything, you're the one who has to live with the consequences of your choices. You're the one who pays the price for ignoring your intuition. You're the one who suffers when you maintain relationships that slowly poison you. And you're also the one who benefits when you finally choose yourself, when you finally honor the truth you've been sensing all along, when you finally step away from those who pretend to love you while harboring hatred in their hearts.